Freedom 75 here for the USF2000 program. About set to roll off. Hauk on the inside. Martella on the outside. Indiana versus Canada. Field set. Aaron Likens on the box. Green, green, green. And we'll race them into turn number one. Hauk immediately at the top part of the racetrack. Schrag's going to go to the bottom. Great start for Ayrton Hauk in the benchmark Arlsport number 58. He goes to the lead. Martella going to run the top line. Cold Continental tires. Remember, that grip on the bottom, not as good. Martella's going to use it, and so does G3 Argyros. He's going to try to roll around the outside there as well of Caleb Gaffera, and away they go. Opening lap of 75 in the books, and Simon Sykes, you've raced here before. If you're out front like this is exactly what Ayrton Hauk was hoping for. Let me get a clean run through the first lap, and then I'll start laying lap times down.
Certainly, he got the start he wanted out front. He definitely is going to get some pressure here from behind in that Jay Howard machine and Anthony Martella, but the start you want is to be out front in the lead, and Hauk has done that 9 times out of 10. You can count on the drivers that start in the first couple of rows to win this race, and no better place to start than out front of the field. That benchmark Autosport car of Ayrton Hauk firing off well here, running the top lane, but it is a close battle for the top 3, Rob.
I know that Hauk and Martella had a chat before the race, said, hey, listen, let's take it easy here in the opening couple of laps. Let's try to pull away a little bit here. There's a shot there of Jack Jeffers in that white and red Corpay machine for Exclusive Autosport. He's got the number 7 right behind him. That's Brad Majman. That is the 10th and 11th, I believe, on the order here right now. Right behind them as well is Sebastian Garzon. So that is 10th, 11th, and 12th. Jeffers, your leader. He's going to go to the bottom part of the racetrack. Majman's going to try the top, and back to the leaders once again. Martella putting some pressure on. Martella fakes the dummy to the bottom of the racetrack, thinks about the bottom. That car looks pretty good. Remember, Jay Howard, that car was a winner last year with Tanner DeFabus, who will be in the Pro 2000 race later on today. Here goes Martella thinking about the bottom of the racetrack. Simon, they're going to go side by side here. What do the cars feel like right now? You've been in this race before. Colder tires. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's a cooler night, 63 degrees here, ambient temperature. What's the car feel like, and when do these tires really start to give you maximum grip?
Well, they'll definitely start to come in. Obviously, you mentioned a cold tire, a low ambient temperature, so you're trying to build this temperature into the tires, build confidence in yourself to run hard into these corners. And we just had the Silver Crown cars out there to put some more rubber, especially on the inside lane, which is going to give drivers more of a passing opportunity. And we're already seeing drivers dip down into the lower lanes where they typically run up high all the way during qualifying. So it's an exercise in being able to use the whole racetrack here when you're actively in this 75-lap race, and we're seeing that out front right now.
Yeah, Martella got challenged a little bit there by Thomas Schrag a couple of laps ago to the inside of turn number 1, but he did not shuffle at all on that one there. Not phased whatsoever. Continues to push forward. Now in the double screen here shot, there's that fight a little further back between Gaffera and Cooley. That's Caleb Gaffera on top of the Pamps racing car, Evan Cooley on the bottom there in the Exclusive Autosport machine. That's the fight in the right side lower part of the screen. They're battling it out here now for 5th and 6th. Up top though, Martella continues to look to the bottom. Like I said, Jay Howard's got great cars here. He does have the bottom of the racetrack. Let's see whether or not the top line continues to be good. No, there's the pass done as it gets to the inside. And there's a new leader, the Canadian Anthony Martella has gone to P1s. As Jay Howard put another car under a rookie driver to go to the potential victory lane here in the Freedom 75. Last year, Tanner DeFabus. Simon, this year, Martella goes P1.
Martella making quick work of Ayrton Hauk there, able to get the rubber down on the low side of the track, and he will remain there, not opting to go back to the high line that we typically see these drivers run. So Martella comfortable in that middle lane. Most of the drivers still staying up high, but your leader out there running lane 2. Give
me your thoughts on that then. You run mid lane like that, tire degradation and conservation, always a topic here at this particular racetrack. If he starts running that middle lane, holds that middle lane, is he not using the tires more than he would be if he was in the top lane?
He definitely will a little bit, but these lower minimum speeds that you run in that bottom lane, shortening the track distance, you're not traveling as far, so it's really dependent on how your car is set up. We have seams in between the lanes, and they're that darker pavement where it is filled in, and that can actually create a bit of oversteer in the car, so the drivers have some tools out there to manage. If the car's a little bit understeer, you can grab the seam, get a little bit more rotation. If you're feeling like the car is already rotating too much, you stay in your lane and try and avoid avoid those seams. So it's all about what you can do inside the cockpit as we see the Pabst Racing machine of Caleb Gaffera going to work on the outside there of the exclusive Autosport car.
Yeah, it looks to me like Evan Cooley at number 90 trying to wait for that slide job. Here comes Thomas Schrag. He gets a good run on the back straightaway as well. Schrag's going to put Ayrton Hauk back into P3. So Schrag, the Bethel, Ohio driver from VRD Racing, now going up into the second position. The Doug Mockett and Company Airport Electric sponsored Tatis USF20 has gone to second. Hauk goes back into third. Long way to go in this one here. Still just 17 laps down. We'll take the opportunity to say hello to those of you who are tuning in to the USF Pro Championships YouTube channel. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here of the Freedom 75. Of course, we'll go back-to-back with the Freedom 90 as well. That's still to come. But again, this is Schrag up front. And look at this. I'll tell you, Ayrton Hauk, they're not going in the direction they want to. That's the number 23 Pabst machine of G3 Argyros putting the pressure on as well. It's Martella, Schrag, Hauk, Argyros, and Gaffera the top 5. Cooley in 6th, Cox 7th, Masella 8th, Majman 9th, and Beswick in 10th. Jack Jeffers has fallen back into the 12th position. Your point leader back to P12. His primary challenger, P2, could be a shakeup in the championship standings. 1.5 points for this single event here at IRP.
Now, what I've always heard and what remains to be true is that this is the test. After this race, the championship fight is on. So it's all about building points up to this race. You get this big 1.5 points race here for the oval, and then you really know who your contenders are for the rest of the season. So this is really going to set the tone for the rest of the year, as we're already seeing G3 Argyros making pretty quick work. He's on that inside lane trying to get around Ayrton Hauk, and for Ayrton, not the start he wanted, and if he's going to want to remain in podium contention, he's going to have to stop the bleeding soon. It's a long race, but definitely not the start that he was looking for.
Indeed, and they worked a lot on long race pace. Last year when they came in here, they focused a lot on that 2-lap qualifying to see if they could get the outright pace to start up front. Statistics we've seen, if you start in the front 3, you very likely will finish up on the podium, and that's normally where the winner comes from as well. We're seeing Martella, who started second, out front here. But the benchmark team worked a lot on long-range race pace. They actually tested here last week, and we're focusing on running those 75 laps. We want to make sure this car is good to the end of the run. Right now, struggling a little bit, obviously, here, as now Caleb Gaffera going to work on him. So Hauk may find himself going from P1 to P5 as we get to the 1/3 mark. Gaffera to the bottom of the racetrack. Hauk is on top. And there it is right there. Cooley not that far back. Hauk, though, going to keep trying to run the top side. Taking care of the tires for sure. Let's put it this way. Whether or not he comes forward later, everybody else has been running bottom line. He's on the top side. At least he's taking care of his tires.
Well, and that's something you can't say for the driver to his inside. Caleb Gaffera, I saw catch a big slide coming out of turn 4 that last lap through. He's finally going to get the move done on Hauk, but definitely working those tires early. After that incident in final practice, that car now put back together, and Gaffera running strong as he continues to try and make forward progress, chasing down his Pabst Racing teammate of G3 Argyros just up the road in front of him in P3.
Next battle is Elliott Cox in the Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development number 68. He's been able to get by Evan Cooley, who is challenging Gaffera for that 5th spot for the longest time. He's lost a spot. Cox moving his way forward. Here comes the 7 of Brad Majman as well. He'll roll way around the outside. Not sure if there was maybe an issue there for Cooley, who checked up coming through turn number 2, because Majman shot by him like he had turbo, pushed a pass, did not obviously, and Cooley is falling like a rock right now. Here comes Teddy Masella as well in the VRD Racing machine. Hauk's going backwards, Cooley's going backwards. Here comes Elliott Cox in the number 68. He is now running in the 6th position, trying to work his way by Hauk. That would be for P5. I'll tell you, Ayrton Hauk, top side, not working. That car, whatever it is, whatever they've done, that car is not as good as it was in qualifying.
Certainly not. He's having a handful to work with out there as he goes to the low lane, trying to get some clean air over his front wings. The first time I've seen him dip down into that middle lane this race, and it's about time you just have to try something different. Obviously, that top lane not working, so searching for anything you can do to try and bring that pace back, build some confidence back in your own driving, as he's under pressure again by another J. Howard machine exiting turn 4 this time.
Yeah, the Australian Brad Majman now to the bottom of the racetrack. Not quite there. He'll lose a bit of that front grip coming right onto the gearbox. You can see a better run out of the corner for Hauk. You'll get that aero wash. The minute you get tucked up inside a gearbox into the corner, you lose all that air flying over the front wing, and the car just wants to push up into the corner towards the wall. That's why you'll see these drivers duck down, even if it's a half a lane, to try to get, even if it's the left side of the front wing into some clean air, to get a little bit of downforce back on the car. Here's Majman all the way down to the bottom. And listen, you've been in races like this before, Simon, where the car maybe wasn't exactly perfect. This has to be so frustrating right now for Ayrton Hauk. He came in here really believing a win was in the cards.
And it was certainly an incredible job to get that pole position and start himself off well into this race, but falling back quickly, he's just going to have to keep working at it. It is a struggle. If you're in the driver's seat and not everything's right, you're just fighting to hang on at that point, and that's what we're seeing Ayrton Hauk doing as Majman able to finally make that pass. That's something it takes a long time here. Unlike a road course, it can take 3-4 laps to complete a single pass because the momentum and the short length of this facility, it's just not enough time to clear the driver in one corner. So you see these drivers working the lanes, building that momentum, and just trying to slip by the driver that they're currently battling. Majman, I want to point out, one of the few drivers that I saw running the middle lane in qualifying, opting not to go for the high line. So he's obviously very comfortable down in that middle lane, and he made it work to get by Ayrton Hauk.
Well, and he didn't have great pace. That's one of the things. Majman was one of the fastest drivers during testing, and he ended up qualifying 11th. Didn't have the best run there, but of course we know he's moving forward now. 11th up into 6th, +5 for Brad Majman. Here's Teddy Musella and the number 12 of Sebastian Garzon. Our leader, Martella, 5.5 seconds up on Thomas Schrag, and he's already put his first driver down a lap. Patricio Gonzalez down a lap. Now I believe Lucas Facuri is the next driver on the hit list. Here it is right here on the top left side of the screen. As you've got Martella using the top line, Lucas Facuri in the bottom line. Facuri running in the 17th spot. Martella puts him down a lap, as we know. 34 laps in the books. We're closing in on getting up there to the halfway point of a 75-lapper. Martella, Schrag, Argyros, Gaffera, and Cox. Midway through the race, Simon, how's the car feeling? Are you now to the point where it's really in the operating window where it's going to start tailing off in a couple of laps?
Well, I wouldn't say it'd start to tail off in a few laps, but by now you definitely know what's under you, what you're working with. The tires are up to temp. Everything's working, hopefully, as it should be. And as the leaders have started to space out a little bit, we do have some battles developing on the track farther back for P4, P5. Elliot Cox looking really strong in that Sarah Fisher Hartman development racing machine, going up towards the Pabst racing machine of Caleb Gaffera. That's a 3-car battle right now.
And here it is, folks. There is Gaffera in the 24, Cox in the 68, and the 7 of Majman right there. A couple of rookies in this program, and then they're sandwiching a veteran driver in Elliot Cox. Started the year with Turn 3 Motorsport in the USF Pro 2000 category. A couple of rough wrecks in those races down at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg kind of hurt the budget a little bit, put him on the sidelines, getting a chance to come back with his old team here to help out Vian Bossoff. This is the car that you actually ran, I believe, at the road course in Indianapolis, Simon Sykes, 2 weeks ago to try to help out Vian there. That's what Elliot's doing here. Get some data and let Vian have a look when you're matching that data, overlaying that data to see where he can go faster in his first time here.
And for Vian, a driver that I'm incredibly respectful for, he's coming in as a rookie into the series, first time in cars, and it's so tough if you're on a one-car team and you have nothing to reference. So it was really nice to get that opportunity to run with them 2 weeks ago, and now you have Elliot Cox putting on a strong performance on the oval here. Obviously another very experienced driver, and he'll get by Gaffera, and now Majman looking to the inside of Gaffera as well.
Yeah, Caleb was a driver that got the incident with Timmy Carell there in the final practice session earlier today. Majman now makes his move by. He's go up into the top 5, so +6 for Brad Majman. As I said before, the Jay Howard cars are very quick here right now. They currently run now in 1st and 5th. A 5.6 second lead for Anthony Martella, the young Canadian driver who is looking strong here right now. Came into the weekend sitting in 13th. This would be huge to move him up into the top 10, very likely in the points. Again, I mentioned before, sponsored by Young Drivers of Canada, a new program there. There's Majman going to work on the 68 of Cox as well. Brad Majman, who was strong in testing, did not qualify particularly well. Mid-track run, as Simon had said, 11th in the order after our timed our 2-lap average qualifying session, single car qualifying, and he is on the move forward. It is a great race car for sure. He is now up into P4. Book it. Majman goes by Cox to 4th position. Now the question is, does he have anything for G3 Argyros, who runs 3rd? Final step on the podium right now. 41-42, make it 42 laps down. 33 laps to go. There's the 18 of Rodrigo Gonzalez, rookie driver. Full-time USF Juniors pilot here in 2025, his second year in the entry level, the opening level of the USF Pro Championships ladder. A podium at Barber Motorsports Park in juniors for Rodrigo Gonzalez, his first time here on the oval. Fact-finding mission, if you will. He'll be stronger when he comes back in 2026. But this is Martella kind of taking his time right now. He's got a bit of a gap. It was 5.5, but Simon now down to 4.1. There's taking your time, and there's giving up some time to the guy behind you. Thomas Schrag's on the roll. I don't know if you want to wait that long.
You definitely don't want to wait that long, but at the same time, you can't take any risks. You're coming up against drivers that you know you have more pace than when you're going for these lap car moves, and he will finally clear that car, but it's an exercise in patience and just resistance and that urge to go forward. You can't make it too quick. You don't want an incident. You don't want to be the one that crashes the last lap of the 500 trying to get around a lap car.
And listen, we're talking here about the maturation of a young driver, Anthony Martella as well. This is him showing, hey, listen, I've made my mistakes. I've maybe overcooked it. I've done some low percentage risky moves. That was, like you said, showing some patience, taking your time, finding a way by. Checking in back here on Ayrton Hauk, who runs 7th. Pole sitter, a new track record in terms of a 2-lap average qualifying run, but it didn't pay off here in the race. That pace has not transferred here into the long run here in a main event, the Freedom 75. He's now getting chased here for 7th place by Teddy Musella. Again, kind of, I think, just trying to stop the bleeding right now with Musella going down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, Musella looking for that move on Hauk, and Hauk has built up quite the crowd behind him. I see 4, 5, 6 cars all in line waiting for their chance to get at that number 58 machine. So Hauk certainly not having the run he was looking for after starting on pole, but he'll continue to fight as he goes side by side, running down into the middle lane, fighting for all he has to stay in front here.
Simon coming through turn number 1 and 2. Musella had a little bit of a tank slapper. Car got away from the bottom. I don't know if it was a seam, if he just kind of lost it a little bit, but it got away from him just a little bit. And Hauk luckily to the top side of the racetrack. That means Sebastian Garzon, the Colombian, is going to close up there as well. Garzon runs in 9th. He'll go down another half a lane to see if he can't get some air over the front of the wing of that D-Force Tatis machine. He's putting a lot of pressure here on Musella. Right behind them, Evan Cooley and Jack Jeffers. Jeffers able to get by Vian Boshoff. He was back to 12th, but Jeffers now up into the 11th position here.
And as we're watching these battles back behind, we have a challenge for the final step on the podium. G3 Argyros under pressure from Majman, who will rip around the top side, Rob.
That's coming out of the turn number 2 down the back straightaway. That's a battle we're watching as well. Here's Martella working his way back onto the front straightaway, but the fight we were looking at there was Argyros and Majman. This is it right here. Majman has got by. So Brad Majman, the Aussie, works his way up into 3rd. Simon picked that one up as they battled through turn 1 and 2. Majman really rocking that middle lane. Not something we normally see, but right down middle lane, and it is really working for him. My concern would be, are you going to burn the tires off with 25 laps to go? But it's working right now for he and Martella.
I'm not seeing any signs of fall off in these Jay Howard machines. They look to be the most hooked up cars on track, and they're certainly putting them to work. Martella out front by a healthy margin, and that's Majman there finding his way into the podium positions and looking for more.
Let me just throw this out there. Majman, again, started 11th. He's worked his way forward. This is Brad Majman right now. He's going to put Lucas Facuri down a lap. But he was 0.3 of a second quicker than Thomas Schrag on that last lap. He's only 1.7 back. He's thinking about Jay Howard 1-2 as he makes the under move there to get by Lucas Facuri. Majman up on the wheel, thinking maybe about second. I guarantee they're on the radio telling him he was 0.3 of a second quicker last time by, Simon. 1.4 between second and third.
And that gap is visibly closing. Clear track between the two drivers now for second and third. Majman looking to put that strong pace to work as he will continue on that middle lane and is visibly closing the gap towards Schrag. We'll see what he has as we come towards the closing stages of this race, but Jay Howard looking really strong here.
Yeah, we are closing in on 20 laps remaining. There is the number 9. That is Anthony Martella, the driver again out of Canada, Woodbridge, Ontario, Canada. VPS service, Young Drivers of Canada machine for Jay Howard Driver Development, looking for his first victory here in USF Pro Championship competition. He's dabbled in both USF Juniors and USF2000. It's a full-time program lined up here. Martella, again, you look at his best finish of the year, 6th at St. Pete and then 7th at NOLA. A victory here would vault him up into the top 10 in points. Simon and I discussed it earlier, again, thinking about the fact that this race is 1.5 points, not 30 points for the race win. It's 45 points for the win. It'll be huge for Martella. It would jump him big time up in the points. He's sitting here at 59. That will put him well over 100 points and very likely could leapfrog him somewhere up into maybe 8th or 9th in the points.
And while we're talking about points and a half here, it's a big weekend in Jeffers. Current points leader down there in P11, Schrag in P2. So at the front of the championship, things are looking to take a swing, but Schrag is coming under pressure from Majman. Majman is closing that gap towards P2 of the number 2 machine, that Velocity Racing development of Thomas Schrag. So a battle soon to develop for the second spot on the podium.
And if you look at the left side of the screen here, as the laps are winding down, you'll see that Jeffers is only about 0.4 of a second behind his teammate Cooley. So Cooley actually getting by Ayrton Hauk as well. So those 2 exclusive Autosport cars are now trying to find their way by Hauk. Coming down the back straightaway right now, Jeffers is to the inside, Hauk's on the outside. That's another scrap. Here's the fight here between that number 11 machine that's further back in the pack. That's Joshua Leonel. He'll get to the inside, Eddie Beswick, as that's Martella coming through. So Martella puts Beswick down a lap. That, I believe, is for 14th or 15th. Joshua Leonel, the Texan for D-Force Racing, currently running in that 14th spot. He's next up for Martella, who is putting it down here right now. Listen, Simon, let's talk about this. When you have a good car at this racetrack, it almost makes it easy.
It's so confidence-inspiring, Rob. There's no better feeling than a strong car at the oval here, having all the confidence in the world and just knowing you have the pace to go and fight anybody that's on the track. And the J. Howard boys are doing just that. Oh, big moment there for Martella, dodging lap traffic as he continues to work his way through the back of the field. Still a big gap to P2, but he's going to have to be careful as he comes up on more lap traffic, not to let that hinder his chances of victory here.
That's the driver who's slow there. That's the number 11 who is slow, Joshua Leonel. He's down to the inside of the racetrack. That's on the front straightaway, folks. That's going to bring out a full course yellow. He was not able to get to pit lane, full course yellow, and we have just 14 laps remaining. This isn't contact. This is going to take nothing for them to get him off the racetrack. So a lead for Martella is gone. And in fact, he's pulling away a little bit here. Not sure what happened there for Leonel as he is back underway. You wonder if it was electrical, if it kind of shut down, fired back up. Maybe he recycled the steering wheel. The wheel sometimes, as we know, has some issues. You're trying to recycle that. Well, that huge lead from Martella. Goodbye. This is going to get interesting here with 13 laps to go.
Well, Rob, you've mentioned it earlier in the race. This is really going to be the test of who has tires for the end, who's pushed too hard in the middle, and who has saved just enough to make a run here for a late race restart. The car that was stranded back underway, but nevertheless we are under safety car, which means a full field reset and another green flag restart to take us hopefully all the way to the end of the race.
Watch the pace car to slide up here in front. Martella got a little wild and got past that pace car as he came out onto the front straightaway. But let's press the reset button here right now. We do count our yellow laps, 63 laps in the books. It'll be 64 when they come back around. Very likely if we go green the next lap will be 10 laps remaining. Anthony Martella, your leader. That massive lead that he was able to pull up has gone away. Of course, he's lapped his way up into the 14th spot. Only 13 drivers remain on the lead lap, Ian Bossoff being the driver in 13th position. Martella is your leader. Schrag second. Majma may be one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack right now. He's going to go to work on Schrag for sure. Argyros runs fourth, Elliot Cox in fifth, Caleb Gaffera in sixth spot, Teddy Musella in seventh, Sebastian Garzone eighth, Evan Cooley in ninth, and Jack Jeffers able to get up to 10th as Cooley and Jeffers, both those drivers, able to get by both Christian Cameron and Ayrton Hauk over the last 10 laps. So indeed, this is going to be very interesting. Martella has led with no challenge whatsoever. He was running the middle line, as was Majman. That seems like the way these J. Howard driver development cars like to run midway through, not the top groove like we normally see. Thomas Schrag really has been kind of out of the spotlight here, just knocking out laps, running P2. This would be big for him. Now remember, point leader Jeffers runs in 10th, Schrag in second, running now in the second spot. That would very likely be the flip there. It's a 13-point difference, I believe. Yeah, 13 points between first and second. Simon, 10 to go. What are your thoughts as a driver?
I think Schrag's going to take a fairly measured approach here, knowing his title contender, current rival, is farther back in the field, and all he needs to do is have a good race. We're coming to green, Rob.
That is exactly it. Martella's going to get on the loud pedal, and we're back at it. Green, 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 and again across the line. It'll be 9 to go. already to the top. They have one driver there. That's Eddie Beswick in the number 30. They left him on the racetrack. Schrag to the bottom, so the lap car of Beswick is there. Schrag got to get by him quickly if he wants to challenge with Martella. Look who's going to the top side. Majman's going to go high. He's going to try to leverage just to see if he can't get by Thomas Schrag. They almost have contact coming out of turn number 4. To the top side goes Majman. He'll try to hold it up top there, potentially use the pick. No, not able to get the run out of turn number 2, and they'll work their way down the back straightaway again. Schrag holding on to second.
And Beswick's not making it easy for either of them. He's sitting there, currently second on track. He's a lap down, but he is in this mix of the podium battles, and Schrag using that to his advantage currently to hold back the charging Brad Majman.
Eddie Beswick, the best friend of Anthony Martella right now. We may have had a battle. They had to get by Beswick quickly. He's just running the top line. Schrag's going to try to go to the bottom. Majman still coming as well. Jack Jeffers, a fantastic restart. He goes back into 8th position. So 8th for Jeffers as we continue to fight this one here. Garzone goes back a spot. Cooley right behind him. And again, there is the leader there, the number 9 of Martella, able to get out to a fantastic lead, 1.3 seconds. Just 5 laps to go when he gets back around. The Martella family, no doubt, watching this broadcast back home in Woodbridge. Will he come away with his first USF Pro 2000 win? Will it come here at one of the toughest racetracks on the circuit, Indianapolis Raceway Park? Canadians have won here before. Matt Clark, Parker Thompson, they've done it here in the Freedom 75. Simon, just 4 laps to go when he gets back to the stripe.
And it's bring it home. Do everything in your power not to lose the car. No mistakes, no risks. You have a lead, a fairly substantial one, even after that restart, thanks to Eddie Beswick. And Schrag, while he's still in P2, not quite close enough for a challenge, so Martella in the catbird seat.
Surprised at all that Majman maybe wasn't as quick. He was closing by a couple tenths, maybe 3/10 of a second a lap, just didn't have it there on the restart.
And what could that have been? Possibly tires.
Yeah.
We saw him making a lot of moves early in the race that will burn up those Continental tires and use all the available grip, so maybe just not having it for these last few laps.
So Jack Jeffers got back up, I believe, to 6th or 7th. He goes back down into 9th position as well, so there's that scrap a little bit further back there. Jeffers does have open racetrack now. Martella, though, at a turn number 4, still not running that super high line, more of a midline here for Martella. Not what we'd see in qualifying. We're going to see 2 laps to go. White flag will fly this time by. Will a Canadian win once again here at IRP? It is the Jay Howard driver development pilot, Anthony Martella, looking for the first victory. White flag waiting here at start finish. One more time around, call it about 21 seconds. Final lap in the Freedom 75 for 2025. Martella at a turn number 2. All he's got to do is navigate the final couple of corners. Schrag, Majman, and Gaffera still right there in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. But here he comes out of turn 3, out of turn 4. Call him a USF 2000 race winner. The Freedom 75 victor this year is Anthony Martella. Martella wins by 1.8 seconds. Jay Howard driver development back-to-back jacks in the Freedom 75. Martella, Schrag, and Majman will go to the podium. Caleb Gaffera coming home in 4th. G3 Argyros in 5th. 6th is Teddy Masella. 7th, Elliot Cox. 8th, Sebastian Garzone. 9th, Jack Jeffers. And 10th is Evan Cooley. Very likely Thomas Schrag will take over the point lead here. I haven't done the calculations. Math is hard. It's not something I want to focus on. I'll leave that up to Tammy Valkoski, our communications director. You won a lot of races, Simon. Give me your thoughts right now. What do you feel when you've come in here and got that first victory in this program?
Pure ecstasy. Mine in this series came at Sebring Raceway. I wish that I could have gotten a win here at this place. It is so magical, and I can only imagine the feeling that Martella must have as he climbs out of his Jay Howard driver development machine.
You can see he's got his head in his hands. The emotion will be there 100% for Anthony Martella. As Schrag comes in, the 7 of Majman comes in. Remember, Brad Majman started 11th. That is +8. You start outside the top 10, you get to the podium. That's not something we see at this racetrack a lot.
It is not. It's hard to make moves here. I had a very fortunate run in 23 going from 9th to 3rd. I know how difficult it is when you start farther back, but having a good car, having your driving down makes all the difference in the world. Majman doing a phenomenal job to climb his way on the podium. I will say unsung hero of the restart, Caleb Gaffera, making his way back by his teammate Elliott Cox, a few others to climb up to that P4 position.
Great job for Gaffera, P4, Argyros in 5th, Martella, Cox, Garzone, Jefferson, Cooley. We'll go through the rundown a little later, but let's get down here onto pit lane and see Anthony Martella. You see the red and white Canadian flag on the top of the helmet there. He's struggling to get that thing off. Somebody get in there and help this kid. There we go. He's just trying to get it off. That's not easy to do with the Hans device there. He'll slip that finally off. The head surround coming out as well at the same time. That is tough, but I'll tell you, you're shaking. Your arms are so tired after running 75 laps for sure. We're going to see him come out here momentarily and show the emotion of a driver who wins his first USF 2000 race. Just wait for the call to get out of the car. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Big win there for Anthony Martella, the young Canadian for J. Howard Driver Development, scoring the win. His mechanic there as well. That is huge for Martella, who has been a top driver in national level karting over the last number of years. Jumped into USF 2000. Does some TCR racing up in Canada as well, some sports car racing. Man, you notched that first victory, though. That is something big.
And he's done a phenomenal job to get all the way here. All that adrenaline rushing through as you climb out of the car, and the feeling of a sense of, relax, finally being able to relax, saying it's over, and then no more counting down the laps. I've done it. I've gotten that first victory, Martella, with the drive of the night.
Yeah, 100%. Really rocked it. And again, he ran that midline. We didn't think it was going to happen for sure. We figured, hey, listen, you got to run a little higher run than that. Other than that, just a fantastic drive for Anthony Martella. Did not put a wheel wrong, and that's what takes, I think we all know, to win on a racetrack like this. One little mistake, you find yourself up in the wall. We've got, of course, the podium down there on the front straightaway as well. We'll get these drivers out here momentarily. Remember, USF Pro 2000 drivers in their cars already out over in the pit area. We'll bring them out here momentarily. The USF 2000 guys are already heading back with their cars. Those teams will bring their pit boxes and their trailers back there as well, the tires. But here come the drivers now. There's Joe Hidalgo from J. Howard Driver Development as well. Congratulations to their young driver, Anthony Martella. Victories like this really give these young pilots a lot of confidence and momentum. And Simon talked about it earlier, how we kind of turned the corner here at IRP. This is a big race. We know that it's double points and a half, so crucial to the championship. But it also gives drivers momentum for that kind of stretch run, right, all the way through. This is the halfway point. We started at St. Petersburg, went to NOLA. From there, of course, to the road course at Indianapolis, then our fourth weekend here at IRP. Now it's the run through Road America. It's Mid-Ohio. It's Toronto. It's Portland. There's Jay Howard as well. Super happy for that team right now. Jay Howard enjoying it. Martella getting ready to go as well. We'll get these drivers in position. We'll be able to bring them up the top three. Good stuff for sure. Just waiting to get the call from the downstairs. Yeah, we're ready to go, folks. So let's get things underway. Let's get started with the driver coming home in third place today. One of the two J. Howard cars on the podium from Australia, P3, Brad Majman. Started 11th, drove up into third. Incredible drive for him today. Again, 3 countries here on the podium for USF 2000 and the Freedom 75. Finishing in second, very likely your new point leader in USF 2000 out of Ohio for VRD Racing. Number 2 is Thomas Schrag. Well, folks, do me a favor. We're talking first-time winner, so if you can give him a huge round of applause, I would love it. The winner here today for J. Howard Driver Development from Canada, number 9, the victor, Anthony Martella. Huge win for Martella, starting on the outside of the front row, did not put a wheel wrong. Ayrton Houck fell all the way back into 11th. The car setup just was not there for him to challenge up front, even though he was able to get out early for the first couple of laps. A couple of J. Howard cars up there, and Anthony Martella and Brad Majman. Thomas Schrag, his first victory coming at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Simon, a couple of weeks ago on the road course. There's a smile of a driver who's the point leader when you're heading to Road America.
And it's not something where you need to win every single race, but that's a driver that should be happy with his performance tonight, knowing that's job done on this weekend. He did just enough, did not need to go and risk anything to win the race, coming home with a solid result and a solid points haul to set himself up nicely for the second half of the season. Will be your new points leader leaving this event. And there is your podium. Martella coming home with the victory. Jay Howard Driver Development, the cars of the night here at Lucas Oil Indiana Raceway Park.
Yeah, the bottom line is huge run for all three of these drivers. Remember, you talk about the fact that Schrag was in the battle for the championship, but both Martella and Majman more than happy to use this big points haul to close themselves back up. All three of these drivers, of course, finishing in front of your current point leader coming in, Jack Jeffers, who ends up finishing in the 9th position. So Jack's still going to be right there, very likely in second, maybe third in points. Here comes the champagne. They'll go to work on it. And indeed, they're going to go after the winner here, and he deserves it. A big one there for Anthony Martella. He gets the victory. He'll finish off the champagne on Majman. And again, our crews working their way out from the back part of the racetrack, USF Pro 2000, set to go.